What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Waiver Wire Queen YouTube channel. I'm the one and only Waiver Wire Queen. Y'all hit that subscribe button and follow me for more. So I'm going to get you right for your fantasy football, your fantasy basketball, and all of your sports news. I'm going to keep you current. I'm just going to give my opinion on what I think you should do throughout fantasy season. Well, what we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to dive a bit deeper into the whole Houston Deshaun Watson madness. Yes, that's right. So if you are an NFL team and you do not have a top 5 quarterback in your life, you need to pick up that smartphone or whatever it is you use to holler at teams when you are interested in their players and call Houston. Like literally call Houston and just kind of see what's going on. They keep saying he's not available. Watson pretty much is saying in so many words, if none, because we're not hearing much, I'm available. And if you are a team and you don't have a top 5 quarterback, which Watson is a top 5 quarterback. He's on my list as a top 5 quarterback. If you do not have him on your list as a top 5 quarterback, give me that list. Tear it up, because guess what? That list is invalid and it's just wrong. But let's dive right into it. So a few weeks ago, I did a video on some teams that I thought were the best option for Watson because he has that no trade clause. He can exercise that anytime he wants. And why go to a worse situation than Houston? Or why go to a situation that, is just not ideal for him? And then I also said, well, best choices for Houston. Okay, so some of those teams were Chicago. I had San Fran on that list. I even threw the Saints in there, but that was like a long shot. I had the Colts. That would be a great location for him, even though, the same division. It's probably not a good idea, but nonetheless, when you're trying to get your franchise quarterback, you do whatever you have to do. Now, some teams that, and I also have Miami on that list, excuse me. Now, there are some teams that, because they have so many assets, we're going to talk about it tonight. We're just going to talk about Deshaun Watson, Houston, and the Jets, because the Jets fans are dying to get him. And I'm sure the franchise are dying to get him because they really don't feel like they have a franchise quarterback. And if you are not getting Trevor Lawrence, you probably are concerned that you still are not going to have a franchise quarterback. So they're probably willing to just throw whatever. They're going to throw it all. They're going to just throw it all at Houston. Here you go. Just take whatever you want and give us a franchise quarterback. Okay, well, it's not going to be that easy because Houston is probably going to want 3, maybe 4 first-round picks plus players. Okay, so I'm going to give them a great idea on some pieces that they can throw Houston's way, and what will please Watson to say, okay, well, is that no trade clause? I'm going to sign and waive it, and I'm gone. I'm going to be gone. Okay, so why is Deshaun Watson one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL? Okay, so let's dive right into it. He's 25 years old. He's been in the league for 4 years. His current contract with the Texans is valued at $156 million. He had $27 million signing bonus, which is a lot. So he is not, struggling when it comes to the money. He's averaging about $39 million a season. Cool. All right. So let's go into his 2020 stats. All right, let's get right into those 2020 stats, okay? For over 4,800 yards, that was a career high. He sacked 49 times, which is too much. We have to bring that down a bit, and that comes with getting on a team that has a really good offensive line, or better than what Houston has, or has the assets to bring in good offensive linemen, okay? His completion percentage was 70%, which was really good, because y'all know how I feel about completion percentage. A lot of players being at 60 to 70%. I like 70 and above, but 65, 70, that is ideal, and that's fine. He had 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 112 rating, which was just really, really good. So let's look at his career stats. Over 14,000 yards, sacked 174 times. That is averaging over 44 sacks a season, which is outrageous. You really do not want your franchise quarterback getting touched. Prime example, Aaron Rodgers for the season was only sacked 22 times. Bingo. They need to do something about that. They tried in Houston, but it's not working. And now Watson is he's trying to move on from you guys. So you need to do what you need to do. Okay, he has 104 touchdowns for his career, 30 interceptions. His rating is 104. Obviously, he's talented. Okay, So let's talk about the Jets. Obviously, they have been terrible for a while. I mean, it happens. They are the third team in the NY. They're the third team in NY, let's face it. They drafted Darnold. I feel like they didn't put pieces around Darnold to really see if he has talent or not. And I think there are teams out there that would take a chance on him to see if there is something there. You really don't know because you didn't do him any favors. You drafted him, you signed Bell. Bell released him. I'm not too high on the wide receivers out there. I like Crowder. That's the only one I like. Throw everybody else away if you want. So you really don't have the talent around him to see if he is a franchise quarterback. I feel like a fresh start may do him some good. That's all I had to say about the Jets. Now let's just talk about a hypothetical situation. So this will work for the Jets. Okay, so they have over 70 million in cap space. You don't have a running back. You need wide receivers. You have the draft capital. Now, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to throw all of these draft picks and Darnold at Houston and bring Watson here. Because if I'm Watson, I'm looking like, well, you don't really have anything that's going to help me win. And actually, I may be sacked more and my stats are going to suffer and I might as well just stay in Houston. Okay, so let's think about what the Jets can do. So let's say the Jets are, Houston are talking about a trade, and this is hypothetically the terms of the trade. So they're going to give up. They have 2 number ones this draft. They have a total of 8 picks, which is great. So hell, if I'm them, if I have to give up my first 3 picks this year, so I have 2 in the first, and we're going to give up one of my 1 pick in the second round pick. So that's already 3. We're going to throw in Darnold. That's another. That's a quarterback. That's a piece. And then say I do have to give you one for next year. So that's 3 ones or 2 and Darnold. That is more than enough to help Houston get their act together. But the thing is, you got to know what you're doing, Houston, because you haven't been doing a good job at what you've been doing, which is why you only won 4 games and your quarterback is like, look, I'm 1 out, amongst other things that they've done to really kind of rub him the wrong way. And once you start rubbing your stars, your superstars and franchise quarterbacks the wrong way, then you're out of luck and we'll be looking for a quarterback. So with all of the capital that the Jets hypothetically they threw Houston's way, and Watson is like, he has some things brewing on the low, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go there. So now they make this trade. Houston is they're getting 3 number ones, a quarterback, and a 2. Fine, let's say that's the trade. And so you got Watson now, and you have this draft capital. So some players they better target and they better bring in and they better execute, because if you bring Watson there and you have nothing, it's going to be the same situation. Only thing is you won't have draft picks to build around him, and you're pretty much Houston just in New York or New Jersey, wherever they want to consider the Jets. This New York team, but you have some of those fans out there who keep throwing those shots. But what's up, Bills fan? How y'all doing out there? Anyways, thing is, these are some players they need to target. You really need a running back. You do. Gore has been serviceable, but he's past his prime. You need a running back. So some running backs I would target. You got Marlon Mack, who's going to be free. James White. And I mean, when I say James White, I mean, not just only James White. Say you bring in Marlon Mack and James White. You got James White as your change of pace. And then you got Marlon Mack. I know people are like, he's always hurt. Well, guess what? When he's playing, he's very productive. So that's someone you can target because that's an upgrade from what you have. And then you bring in James White, or you look at Carlos Hyde, who has done well, and they should have kept him in Houston. And then you would probably still have Hopkins, and Carlos Hyde would have probably had his second 1,000-yard rushing season for Houston. And you would still have Hopkins, and then you wouldn't be having these issues that you're having with your quarterback wanting to leave. And then there's some other Matt Breida. I feel like a fresh start for him. He needs a fresh start. didn't perform well in Miami, but it happens. Fresh start, but he's not the only guy. You bring in a Marlon Mack and maybe a Breida, and then you look at the money where you're going to really be throwing that at is at your wide receivers. Will Fuller is going to be out there. That's been his guy this past season. You bring in maybe Will Fuller. You can look at Juju, but I feel like there's other options I would prefer over Juju. Look at Allen Robinson. Look at Galladay, because he's going to be a free agent. Jones Sr. is going to be a free agent. So you really need to add some pieces around him. And then you already got Crowder, so you're going to keep him. And you have to bring pieces. You cannot expect Deshaun Watson to say, I'm going to sign over that no trades clause. I'm going to waive that no trade clause, and I'm going to go to the Jets where they have less than what Houston has. The hell, we're not going to do that. We might as well sit out the whole season and sit back and just watch. But nonetheless, that's for the Jets fans and Houston. If they are interested in what the Jets have to offer, I feel like the Jets and Miami would have the best assets, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the best deal or location for Watson unless moves are made and these potentially these players that I mentioned are added. With the Jets, if they were to make that trade and they were to execute some of these free agent signings, good. That's going to help, and that will produce more wins and possibly put you guys, I don't know, I don't want to say the playoffs because your division is tough. You're at the bottom of your division, and it's going to be hard. But having someone like Deshaun Watson and then adding some of those wide receivers I mentioned at least is going to give you a chance to be competitive, and you haven't been competitive in a few seasons. So guess what? You're going to have to do what you're going to have to do out here in these NFL free agency streets to make Watson happy if you land him. You cannot simply land Watson and just be like, "Woo, hit the lotto." Okay, well, damn. What's going on with the lotto? You're going to have to do something more than just hit that lotto. You're going to have to spend some of that money and bring in those players to help Watson win. It's a team sport, and you got to build around your franchise quarterback. So Jets, that's for you guys. If you're listening to the Waiver Wire Queen like you should be, holla at Houston, make this trade happen. All right, y'all let me know what y'all think out there. What do y'all think the Jets should do? Should Houston take the Jets up on an offer like that? Hell, they may want to add in one more first. Fine. So what do you guys think? Should the Jets call and try to make that trade? What do you think about the players I mentioned at running back and at wide receiver? They can potentially sign in free agency. All right, y'all been great. Let me know what you think. Hit that subscribe button. Subscribe and follow Waiver Wire Queen. Follow me on Facebook and IG at Dream Elite Strive for Excellence. And that is excellence with an X, like BX. Also, check me out on Facebook at Waiver Wire Queen. Y'all been good. Y'all have a blessed evening. Peace.